Hey everyone, it's the Angry Honey Badger, and it's time to take a look at another champion build video. Today I am playing as Syndra in the mid lane. Lately she's actually become incredibly fun for me to play. I do like her a lot and have been having a lot of fun just trying out new things with her and playing her. She does remind me, as I did say in my Orianna build, a lot, kind of like her, at least just build-wise. So we're going to go over her items, her runes, masteries, and all of that good stuff today. Like I did just say, I do like playing her in mid lane. She is strong there. You can kind of play her as a support if you want to as well, because she does have a little bit of crowd control that can work. And just some interesting stuff there. But for the most part, mid, I believe, is her best role for her. At level 1, I do typically take boots and pots. It's pretty much your safe bet. And having that little bit of extra survivability early on in the game with those health pots is going to be very nice. As you can see, I've been poking at Brand a little bit by using my Q ability, which is what I take at level 1, which is her Dark Sphere. Here, I'm going to get another one of my Force of Will on him to slow him down and then shoot that sphere that I had down with Scatter the Weak at him, which is going to end up killing him. We'll go over all this too a little bit more, but like I was saying, at level 1 I do take that Dark Sphere, and then at level 2 I do typically take her W ability, which is that Force of Will, which allows you to either pick up enemy minions, or your orbs and throw those, which if they land and hit the enemy target, they do slow them and deal damage. And then her E ability, which is her Scatter the Weak, which she can fling her orbs and hit enemies, and that will stun them if you hit them with it. If not, you can just use that by itself, and if you hit them with the cone of it, it will push them back. So it's not a bad choice to take early in case you're getting ganked as well, but typically I take 1 point in all of her abilities at levels 1, 2, and 3, so I have all of them available for my use. She is going to be able to poke a lot in lane if the enemy champion does not have a ton of range. She does very good against people like Katarina, except for Katarina can jump to her and deal some damage, but she can poke a lot, and especially with her standard attack, you can poke a lot as well doing that. Brand's got decent range too, but since I have about the same range that he does, I can usually keep poking back, so he's going to have to go to other lanes to pick up some kills, which I think is what he's doing right now. He is top lane and going to pick up a kill, unfortunately, but I am coming this way. I'm going to go ahead and check the bush by using one of my orbs and then pushing it across, which I do stun him. I'm going to pick that back up, throw it back down using my Force of Will, and then just standard attack him to death. Didn't really need to use anything else to kill him, so picked up another kill on him there. Unfortunately, he did go top and get that kill, but that will happen. As you could see before when I went back earlier, the very first item I did pick up was a Chalice of Harmony, which is going to be very important with her. If you want to use all of your abilities over and over, what you're going to really need is that because you're going to go through your mana. And I do work with this early if I'm not able to get it, but luckily the Chalice of Harmony is a cheap item. It only costs 890 gold, so you're able to pick it up fairly quick, so that's going to be nice. It's going to also be going towards my very first item. As you can see, I do also have a little bit more mana regen 2 going on that I will be building into my next full item. So, and then that last time I did go back, I did decide to pick up my boots so I can gank a little bit faster. As you can see, I'm going top right now. I'm going to hit an orb and fling that with the Scatter of the Weak. It's going to hit him, and it's gonna it did stun him. Unfortunately, he was able to use his cannot be slowed. Yi did disappear there. I'm gonna use my ultimate though here on Darius, throw some stuff at him, ignite him, use another orb, and then get out of here. So you do a lot of damage. Here we do have Brand though coming up. I'm gonna go ahead and put another orb down and use Scatter the Weak. It's gonna stun him. Now I'm gonna make an escape, and this escape is gonna involve me with going closer to their base instead of back right away, because he probably didn't think I'd go closer to their base. So you gotta be a little bit tricky when you're trying to escape from them, but luckily I was able to get down that Dark Sphere and that Scatter the Weak to stun him and get a little bit more range between him and me. So I was able to get out of there, so that is going to be very helpful. She's a very, very strong farmer in lane. She can use all of her abilities to clear minions incredibly fast. There I did pick up an assist with Shaco. That's going to help me out. As you can see, I'm still building towards my first item, which if you cannot tell what it is, I'm starting to build towards an Athene's Holy Grail. Obviously going to be very helpful with the cooldown reduction, all that mana regen, and the magic resist, and the AP. So all around a great first item for her. You're never going to really ever run out of mana with it. You're going to get that magic resist, which is going to help you while you are laning, and it's going to give you cooldown reduction, which is going to be awesome for being able to get your Dark Spheres up and using those more often, since that is kind of your core damage. And you will be able just to use everything a lot more. So very, very nice item to go with as your first main item. As for the rune page that I do typically go with when I am playing her, I usually go with Magic penetration marks. I go with mana regen seals, and that's what's going to help me early on in the game in case I do not get that chalice right away, but it'll allow me to stay in lane and deal some extra damage. Here I am going to die. Unfortunately, I get sniped. Other than that, I would have probably gotten away, and we're going to kind of die here, unfortunately. That team fight kind of fell apart, unfortunately. But like I was saying with my runes, then I usually go with AP per level glyphs, which is going to help me out while I'm early on in the game. And I also take AP quintessences. As you can see, I did just finish off that Athene's Unholy Grail. Just that item and my runes. Right now I have 144 AP, which is pretty good for only one real item. And those runes are really helping me out a lot, along with my Masteries page as well. That Masteries page I do go with is a 2109 page, the 21 in the offense, helping me with Magic Pen, a little bit more AP, and all types of fun stuff there. And then 9 in the utility tree to help me with buff duration and mana regen and all of that good stuff. So that's what we're doing with kind of our pages and our trees for the Masteries. Here we still have this little bit of a fight thing going on. We're going to get into a little bit of a shuffle there. I do kind of push their team back to try to help us out. Blitzcrank, though, is not going to retreat. We're going to lose a couple of players here right away. I'm going to go ahead and use my ultimate real quick on the Yi, get rid of him, and then flash over the wall to escape the team since they're coming in to kind of close in on us. So I was able to pick up a kill there at least. Your orbs do a lot more damage than I think people will expect them to do. So never be afraid to use her ultimate, which is her unleashed power. You should be taking that at level 6 and maxing that out by level 16. So don't forget that that will do a lot more damage than you think. There's a few ways you can use her abilities in combinations to deal damage, like by throwing out a ball like that. You can pick it back up, then throw it at them to slow them. Then you can use another ball like I did just there to kill them. I didn't really need to use Scatter the Weak there to stun her. I knew I was going to be able to kill her just fine. But there's another couple different ways you can do things. I actually sometimes like, in a big team fight, to use my ultimate right away on someone. It's really interesting because since you have all of those extra spheres laying around, then you can use Scatter the Weak after all of them are laying there, and you'll be able to stun a lot more of people on the team because there's just so many more of them running around. So that's another nice way to use things, and then it's a lot easier to grab one, pick it up, slow down other enemy champions, and this is all while you're doing your Dark Spheres as well, since that is on its shortest cooldown. So that's a few things to think about. Everybody does kind of find their own little unique way. It also is nice if you just want to use that to finish someone off, because you can just destroy a big chunk of their life with that as well. This last few times I've been back at base, I have been building what I would call situational. Typically the next item I do get after Athene's is a death cap, but since I am kind of have to resist a little bit of damage this game, I actually have started what I would call my third item. Instead of after my death cap, I would typically build a Rylai's Crystal Scepter, but I'm going to go ahead and build that right now. It's going to help me with life, which is obviously going to be great. It's going to help me with that slow when I hit them with my abilities, kind of kiting them around even more, which will be very helpful to have even more crowd control with her, which she already does have good crowd control. Here they're kind of coming up to gank me. I'm going to flash to get out of the way so I don't get stuck in a Sona all if she had it up. They're going to be able to throw in a Scatter the Weak and stun a couple of them. I am going to pick up a kill on the Master Yi real quick while I get 2 assists while Vlad kills the Sona and the Brand, so that's going to be kind of helpful in that team fight. I think a lot of people don't ever expect the Scatter the Weak to hit them. You do kind of have to practice it a little bit, but in case you're not super good with that, you do still have Force of Will to kind of throw at them to slow them, so you can still pretty much get some of your crowd control off and be helpful to the team that way. While I'm back at base right now, I am finishing off that Rylai's Crystal Scepter. That's going to definitely be helpful. And now I am going to start building towards that death cap, which I would typically take a little bit earlier because I do want all of that damage. But like I said, I'm building situational here because I was taking a little more damage early, and I kind of wanted to just get a little bit more health just so I had a little bit better survivability in future team fights and just while running around since their Brand is hitting me with some stuff and just, you know, just a good overall item. I know some people would maybe go with Rod of Ages, but I don't need any of the extra mana that way. Here, I'm waiting for him to get out of the way. There, I did get off a Scatter the Weak. Then I'm going to use my ultimate and pick the kill on Yi. I'm going to try to help out the rest of the team now and pick up an assist on the Sona and on the Brand. Then Caitlyn comes in here. She does pick up the kill on Vlad, and now we're going to kind of try to poke her down. And I think I get an assist on her. Yes, I do. So, took out most of their team. Here I'm going to be able to, if I need to, kite around that Darius. He's not going to be able to catch me. I can keep hitting with orbs and sending him backwards. So kind of help the team escape there as our Sheikah was low. So that's kind of another nice reason to have that slow. You're able to use her orbs a lot often than I think some people think, because that Dark Sphere is actually on a very short cooldown, especially after you do get Nathine's Unholy Grail. So something else to think about just a little bit there. Still building towards that death cap. Going to keep farming up and pushing lanes and keep getting into team fights with our team. Don't forget about her passive. I know a lot of people kind of do or don't realize it right away, but her passive does help out all of your abilities once you do max them out to level 5. So, for instance, with her Q ability, which is her Dark Sphere, which is what I do typically take and max out at level 5 right away, what happens then once you hit level 5 is your passive lets that deal an extra 15% more damage, which is going to be very helpful. Then the next thing I typically max out is her Force of Will, because it does more damage than her Scatter of the Weak, and it does increase the slow duration too when you hit them with it. So I do take that and try to max that out as my second thing. And when that is maxed out with your passive, you get a 33% longer slow, which is going to be even more CC. And then at the very last thing I do max out, which is her Scatter the Weak, which when maxed out to level 5 with her passive is going to give you a 50% larger cone, so you can kind of shoot wider and kind of push more people back or send your orbs off in a larger cone spread. So it's a few things to kind of remember about her passive. I think a lot of people forget, or they just see her abilities change just kind of slightly once they're maxed out and they're not really sure why. So that is what her passive does do. So just kind of need to remember that when you are playing as Syndra. Here we're getting to a little bit of a team fight bottom lane. There is a kill exchange, and then we find Brand. I'm going to chuck this in here to slow him, and then I'm going to dance because Sona wants me to. I'm going to flash through the wall and try to pick up the kill on the Brand, but Vlad gets it before me. But luckily, you know, I did use my ult there, but as you can see, it was on about a 1-minute cooldown. So with that Athene's, it's going to be very helpful to get my ult back up very quickly. Unfortunately, I think Vlad is going to get shut down here. We have Darius running around. He's been doing pretty good this game, actually, and getting pretty tanky. So we have to look out for him for the most part. So we have been kind of focusing on him to try to get him to be kind of afraid of us, to hurt him a little bit. So I do have that needlessly large rod right now. I have about 378 AP, which is a pretty good amount right now. I'm going to keep farming. I'm going to go back to base now, though, and pick up that death cap. That is going to definitely help me take my AP to above 500 right now. So still have 2 open slots. And now we get to the point in the build where you can kind of build a little bit more situational again. There can be a few different things you can get depending on like whether you are taking a certain kind of damage, whether or not the enemy team has tons of crowd control and they're just getting to you really fast. There's a few different things you could do for those items, like a Quicksilver Sash, or you could do the Guardian Angel to kind of help there. This game I actually have been taking a handful of magic damage, so I believe the next item that I'm typically building towards is going to help me deal with some of that. Here I'm going to help pick up a kill on Brand and then try to help kill Darius by sending the ultimate in there. You saw he had a lot of life, but that ultimate does do an amount of damage. It does tell you what exactly it will do, but it will deal more depending on kind of how you've been set up. Now here we get into an interesting fight, and I unfortunately didn't get that orb in front of me to stun her, so that little bit of extra damage she did to me will kill me. If I would have got that off, I would have stunned her against that wall, and just that would have been nice, but I did die, but did pick up the kill as well. I'm 9, 2, and 11 right now with over 200 for farm, I think, so she's a very strong farmer, as I did mention. You gotta just farm away with her in lane. Once you get your Unholy Grail, you can just pick at the enemy champion as much as you want, making it hard for them to lane and hard for them to farm. Early on in this game, when I was doing that to this Brand, you could see that he was going to other lanes trying to pick up kills. He then did get a few more kills later on, and it has helped him out. Don't forget, when you are playing Syndra too, that your Force of Will can pick up minions. You can pick up jungle minions, so if you want to go screw around with the enemy team, go ward their buffs, and when you see them go to take them, take their buffs and throw them somewhere else or steal them that way. You can go ward their red buff, pick it up, and actually throw it into Baron so it resets and it takes it forever to get back to its location. It's hilarious to do, and it does screw with their jungle. There I am going to use my ultimate on Darius to try to get rid of him and his stupid true damage ultimate. Going to pick up a kill on the Lee, or Master Yi, not Lee, sorry, and pick up an assist on the Brand. We're going to be able to pretty much finish off their team like that pretty quickly. And you've cleared those minions incredibly well, too, as you can see there. Shaco does pick up a nice triple kill, just kind of running around And we're basically going to go ahead and finish off this game. I started building an Abyssal Scepter as my next item because I wanted to deal with some of that AP damage I was taking from Brand and from the rest of their team. Typically, I would be picking up a Void Staff as well, but if you did need a little bit more armor and you did want more AP, Azonia's Hourglass would be another great choice as well. That's pretty much going to round out a build video for Syndra. If any of you have a question, go ahead and put your comments in the comments below. Yeah, put your comments in the comments below. Put your questions in the comments below. Other than that, guys, that's going to be a Syndra build. I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed if you have not. And I guess other than that, I'll just see all of you guys in the next build video.